QPR, QPR, Richmond Rangers are on the up and up. QPR, QPR, now we're heading for European Cup.
Summer is over, the R's are back. I'm Paul Finney, this is a QPR podcast. I'm hosting tonight. I've got two fellow QPR fans, which makes 3 hoops, which is more than you can say for the home shirt. There you go, over and done with. I'm joined tonight by Clive from Law for Words, who's not only a good friend, but someone who I value, whose opinion I value a lot.
Load of absolute nonsense.
Lies.
Both of those things are untrue.
Now, I've got this thing, Clive, right, that this season we're going to try and make the podcast quality-wise better. And we're just going to make it more broadcastable, so we're going to lie a lot.
Well, it started brilliantly.
Excellent. Welcome, Clive, and welcome back. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
And we've got an ex-QPR player, legend, played for the club so many times that he's got so many shirts that he's got... How many shirts have you actually got at home, Kev Gallen, by the way?
Enough in the wardrobe. Can I just say, I'm only here because no one else turned up.
Yeah, tube strike.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. And
last resort, Bognor Regis.
You're never the last resort, Kev. Never.
Don't even get a drink anymore.
Yes, you did. I brought you one.
Shambles.
You're the only person I do buy a drink for. And anyway, so, right, for anyone who's still listening after the first 30 seconds of absolute nonsense, we're going to start talking about pre-season and things like that. I'm going to do the thank yous and all the link-ups later on, but I just want to get on with the chat, really, because that's all anyone's interested in. So if David Fraser's listening, we will get onto the bits you told me about earlier on later. Right, Clive, pre-season. Thoughts? Come on now, be serious for your song, come on.
Well,
lie.
Is it possible to be sort of happy and positive, but also thinking that it's not going to go very well?
Only in Valium.
Okay, because that's where I am. I think I quite like a lot of the signings they've made, and I quite like that we're not throwing ridiculous money around, and I like the way that the team...
You haven't got any.
Yeah, indeed. And I like what I saw from the way that the team has played, although in patches and the shape and the sort of style of play and things like that. But I really don't think it's going to go very well to start with. And I think if we are going to go down this path that Les and Chris Ramsay have talked about, if indeed it is, if we are going to get, it's going to take a lot of time. And I think initially at the start of the season, I think we're going to have some bad results, and I think it's going to require a lot of patience from the board and from the supporters, and hopefully it will come good in the long run. But I like a lot of the signings they've made, not all of them, but Luongo looks like a good player, and I'm positive, but fearful that particularly the first 3 games I don't see a lot of points, and I wonder what the reaction will be. If we get a draw at Charlton and lose to Cardiff and lose at Wolves, they're going to, it's going to be pitchforks and flaming torches, isn't it?
So basically you're positive, but you're still a QPR fan underneath it all.
Well, yeah, I've never been the most positive person, as your listeners will know.
I've seen you being positive.
Yeah, this is me being positive.
Right, Kev, as an ex-professional footballer, which is what they used to call you, apparently.
Yep.
Now, you were. I'm not going to be disrespectful. You were a very good footballer in your time, and then many years ago. Pre-season,
yes.
How important is it to who should you be playing in pre-season as a championship club?
Well, from what I've read and over the last few weeks, obviously the Italian trip hasn't gone well at all. Not training wise, because I don't know, but I'm sure the training's been great. But once you've organised a couple of games and they don't show, that's not good. So you don't want to go into the season undercooked. And maybe just, I went to the game on Sunday against Atalanta, and it was a good game. There was good opposition, good crowd, good opposition crowd, decent atmosphere. But you need, as a football player and as a ex-player myself, you want to be playing like, you start off, there should be like 5 or 6 games before the start of the season. You ease your way in, you have 45 minutes here, 45 minutes there, then you have a 60, then you might have a 75, and then, coming up to the start of the season, you have at least 190 minutes. I don't know, but from what I can gather, that a lot of the QPR players haven't had the 90 minutes, so... you need to, in my opinion, It doesn't. I don't know what's going on in the training ground at all, fitness wise, but you can do all the running around on a training pitch, and I've done it before. We used to run for fun with Jerry and Ian Holloway, and the first pre-season game, 45 minutes, I'm like dead. It's a different type of running. You don't run for an hour. You do a cross country and all that. I know they don't do it anymore, but it's a different type of fitness, football fitness, and the only way you get fit is by playing football matches. And I'm just a little bit concerned that we might be a little bit undercooked, but time will tell. We'll see on Saturday.
The Italians, the biggest fear I got out of that is you're bringing new players in and you're talking about new QPR and it's going to be different and whatever. And the new players immediately got a glimpse of just how badly organised QPR always has been and still is. You go to Italy to play 3 games against quality opposition, you end up playing a Sunday League team. Monaco's fair enough, and then playing each other in the last game on bad pitches and whatever.
Who won?
Well, I was delighted to see that QPR won, but also very concerned to see that QPR lost in the second. So it was a big concern, but also a big fillip. So yes. I'm not sure.
How are you feeling?
Well, like I say, positive, but worried. And
but it's the kind of game you could actually cheer everything, couldn't you?
And nothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And boo. It was the best of both worlds.
I have to say, I watched it.
All emotions. I know. You told me, and I was actually, what are you watching that for? This is great.
What was
the score? Someone on Twitter put, yay, QPR 1-0 up. Ooh, QPR 1-0. Did tickle me.
You would
only
know,
at QPR.
Yeah, you would know a thing or two about sort of bad pre-season tours of.
Yes,
Italy.
I do. We went to Italy once upon a time, and I think
I went with you. It was a lot of fun.
It was. It was great fun. Not for us, but for you guys, it was great. But yeah, that was awful. We had 2 hours to go. It was a 2-hour trip to go training. How can you travel 2 hours to go training and then an hour and a half and then travel 2 about? If it wasn't for Alan McDonald, God rest his soul, with the microphone on the way back, it would have been just telling jokes and making us all go up and sing songs, because it was like every night we had to travel 2 hours to. But yeah. Pre-season is important because you don't want to be going undercooked and sometimes you're better off just staying in England.
Yeah, or Britain bit the kiss.
Or Britain, or even going to Ireland, because you're going to... What? Republic of Ireland, sorry. And because you do realise that these teams will turn up. You go to Italy, they don't turn up. Twice now, we've been stung.
I'm trying to think of the teams that we played when we went up under Warnock, and but I'm pretty sure it was pretty. Well,
the Warnock pre-season basically was semi-professional teams like Bodmin and Taunton or somebody, and we did them like 10 or 12-0, and Hogan Ephraim looked like Jean-Claude Van Damme, and it was wonderful.
Was he killing people?
And then.
Did you actually watch the game or just watch some DVD?
I've had a relaxing.
Did he chin someone?
Yeah, he looked.
No, you're right. Sometimes, but then they must have went somewhere.
Well, no, the week before that, the week before we beat Barnsley 4-0, we drew, I think, at home or at Plymouth with Plymouth, and we looked really bloody awful. Yeah. Like Plymouth were much better than us, and then we hit the ground running, and off we went. Yeah.
So look, at the end of the day, you can have the worst pre-season and win the first game, the best pre-season and lose the first game. Honestly, it's all about this Saturday and what happens, because there's an absolutely different mentality when there's points on the board and there's a win bonus on the card. Believe me, it makes a big difference. And when there's a crowd, the atmosphere is so much different. I used to hate pre-season because I just thought it was an exercise to get as fit as possible for the first game of the season. So Let's see what happens on Saturday.
Did anybody, before we go... By the way, we've got Jamie Mackie. We're going to go to Jamie Mackie in a minute. But did anyone watch that 92 club thing on Sky?
I watched bits of it.
Yeah, bits of it. And every club was like, pre-season brilliant. Had a brilliant pre-season. Every club from like the Premiership to the bottom of League Two have had a brilliant pre-season. So nobody should lose this weekend. It should be brilliant.
Well, everyone's
going to 92 draws.
You're in prime territory now for the PR people at the club, aren't they? Because there's no defeat to sort of prove otherwise. So you can just say everything's brilliant.
But see, the thing is, what I got from it, from the bits I've seen, Fulham printed players' shirts. O'Hara was one of them. live on TV, and we had an omelette, and that was it really, from what I could see.
To be fair, they went up to Blackpool.
Yes.
Blackpool unveiled their captain for the season live
Brilliant.
on air. And no mention was made of anything that is going on at Blackpool at the moment. So at that point, anybody who was still watching should probably have turned off, because there's an exercise in anything other than getting Jim White in a...
It was 92 propaganda machines at full throttle.
Yeah. 92 blowjobs, basically.
Oh, for God's sake, Clive.
Can I just have one?
Fraser,
I just want one.
Not tonight. Fraser will be going mad.
No, thank you.
Yeah, right. iTunes will probably buy. But you say that. The interesting thing I thought is
put a wig on.
Yeah, thank you. Shut it. The thing is, I find is that with Rangers, I'm watching the Chris Ramsay interviews and everything else, that we're not either depressed or we're manically happy. We're kind of just getting on with it. Is that a good way of saying it?
Chris Ramsay comes across as very depressed in his interviews.
Oh, do you think so?
Well, potentially because...
He's obviously been listening to this podcast.
Yes.
He does listen, apparently. He does listen. So I'm told. There you go.
Well, the one of two theories of why he's like that. One, he's probably very worried because he knows as well as anybody else that somebody...
Thanks for listening, Chris, by the way.
Hi, Chris. Somebody in his position who's always been a coach or whatever doesn't get a chance to be the number one at a Championship or Premier League club, and he knows that if this doesn't go well for him, he was very unlikely to get that number one spot again. The other side of that is he also knows that they're working on this idea that we're meant to be going along with, and it's going to take time to settle in. So he is trying to downplay everything and keep expectations nice and low, because you see people on message boards go, "Well, we'll know after Wolves. We'll know. 4 games. We've got 3 games."
Who is this person you're doing the thing of? Because
that's how I read all the message board posts on our website. I read it in that voice. All the posts on our message board, I just read in that voice, basically.
It's brilliant. So what?
Do you know what? You obviously, everyone knows that every manager plays it down massively.
Yeah, totally.
But we are playing it down really.
Well, everyone plays it down because no one ever comes out. And even when I was a player, so what's going to happen next game? You don't say, "Oh, we're going to win 2-3-0," and then everyone hears it and the opposition hears it, and then you lose. You said everyone plays it down. So
apart from Tim Sherwood.
yeah, fair play. He puts it on the line. So, but no, everyone plays it down, and you look up and down. It's going to be. Everyone just says the same thing. It's going to be a tough game, and it's going to be really close, and then we're going to do that. And you know what? It is going to be really close, because the Championship, there ain't really. You can't say, "Wow, there's one outstanding team who's going to just in the Premiership, you got the top 4, and then the rest are like, can we beat? It's going to be tough, but in the Championship, everyone can beat anyone on their day.
It's nuts, isn't it?
And it is, but that's why it's tough, because Wolves won about 25 games last season and didn't get in the playoffs or something ridiculous. So to get promoted in the Championship, you've got to win 30 games.
Here's a thought. Sorry for taking the glasses. You wouldn't have heard anything. That was cups of water. This is a strange one. When we play Wolves away, 2 gallons in the dugout, eh?
Yes.
Do you reckon
fisticuffs?
Do you reckon it'll go off? Do you reckon?
I hope so. Because I'll be watching it.
Who's your money on?
Yeah,
Steve,
who would your money be on?
Seriously, who do you reckon would win that? If it say it's a last minute penalty,
I'll just be cracking up.
Who would win the fight? Do you reckon, Joe or Steve?
I don't know.
No, seriously, you must have an idea. Come on.
I do know.
Who buys the best? Who buys the best Christmas presents?
None of them.
Seriously, they're both tight.
No, we don't buy Christmas presents. We're men.
Right, we're going to go to Jamie Mackie now.
on that bombshell.
Alan Partridge. Fine, we buy Christmas. Yeah.
Best
Steve buys me. Do you know what Steve buys me? A voucher, a Reese. He always buys me like a £50 Reese voucher card. Yeah,
right.
It's great. I don't buy him nothing. So when I open the card, I just go, "There you go, Steve. There's yours," and that's it. And we just laugh. And he goes, "Yeah, I'm going shopping in the New Year." Joe don't buy me anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Nothing.
No.
Jesus.
I don't buy anyone anything except for my kids and my missus.
Didn't even buy a pint.
Because if I don't buy her something, well, that's big trouble. Big trouble.
Anyway,
Big trouble.
welcome to the Kevin
Not
Gallen
worth,
podcast.
not worth living.
Yeah.
The moaning could go on for years. I've done it once. Never again.
This reminds me of on the buses. Right, we're going to go to Jamie Mackie right now and ask him some serious questions about the start of the season. Hello and welcome back. Well, I could say welcome back to QPR and I could say welcome back to Jamie Mackie, but I'm just going to say welcome home, fella. How are you?
Yeah, all good, thanks. Great to be back home and looking forward to the season start now.
Good man. We're joined by Clive Whittingham for Lawful Words and someone who wore the hoops with pride before you as well, Mr. Kevin Gallen. So we're just going to fire loads of questions at you. We haven't rehearsed at all, so this could be anything. So
no problem.
Good man. So I'm going to start off with Clive.
Welcome back, Jamie. I never thought you should have left in the first place, to be honest. How did it come about that you were able to return to the club this summer?
I think it was I stayed in touch with a lot of people for the time that I was away, and obviously, after leaving quite quickly afterwards, I always wanted to come back as soon as I could, to be honest. So I was in contact with a few people. The situation at Nottingham changed for me, and I had the opportunity to leave there and go to other clubs. And obviously, I got wind of QPR potentially having me back, and so I spoke. And obviously, as soon as I knew that I could come back, that was the obvious choice for me and the one that I wanted for a while anyway. So yeah, that's how it came about. And yeah, it's just delighted to get it done early and look forward to the season now. A
regret that you left, or was it circumstances at the time that caused that?
Yeah, certainly it was circumstances at the time why I left, and that's happened now, and I'm back, and I'm just lucky that I got the opportunity to come back. So yeah, at the time they were the things sort of governed me leaving, and it was the thing to do at the time, leave. But like I say, it's not always that you get the chance to come back. But like I said before, I am glad that I did come back. What's
changed? We're obviously glad to have you back. What's changed? What's different since you were last here?
You know what? There's so many of the same faces. There's like behind the scenes. Like walking into the ground the other day was unbelievable, having that drive that I usually take into the ground and seeing the same people working at the ground there and at the training ground. Things are very, very similar. A couple of coaches have obviously changed, and the likes of Steve Gallen have moved up from when I was first there. He's with the under-21s, and the younger lads now he's with the first team, which I think is a great move by the club, and all the lads are happy about that. So a few things like that have changed, but fundamentally it's QPR. It'll always be QPR, and there's some great people who've been there a long time, and hopefully they're there for a long time to come.
Well, it's a weird thing. Kev's going to come in a second here, because Kev, also you came back to QPR after being away, and people always say you should never return, blah blah blah, for whatever reasons. But I'm really pleased you've come back, and it must somehow seem like a wee bit of a dream going full circle. But Charlton Saturday, what's the mood in the camp at the moment?
Yeah, I think it gets to this stage of pre-season, and the whole basis of pre-season is to get to the first game of the season. So when it's this close, you're excited about the start of the season, and you want to see how we're going to get on, and can't wait for the competitive games to start. For me personally, pre-season's a drag, something that just sort of goes on for a bit longer than you want. Not in terms of the work you have to do, just the competitiveness in the games isn't there. That you want and that you strive for the 3 points on a Saturday. You're not really working for that. It's about getting fit and working on things within the team. So everyone's excited. There's a good mood around the camp, good atmosphere in the changing room, and everyone's excited to get going.
Yeah, Jamie, I understand totally, because when I played, I used to hate pre-season. Not only forget about that, I actually enjoyed the getting fit part, but the games is like the worst. It's the worst part of pre-season, because you go to the some games and they don't water the pitch. The pitch is dry. It's all this, and it's just it's very fake, and it's a glorified training game. But as an ex-QPR player and a player who left and came back for a year. Left for a year and came back. It must have been, seeing all the old faces and the new faces. It must give you a big buzz, and you must be raring to go for the season.
Yeah, totally. I think I stayed in really good contact with loads of people at the club. So, like you said, I knew that you came back to the club again, and you probably found it the same. That like it doesn't actually change that much.
It does, and it does. It is always personnel and the players does, but it's still sort of behind the scenes. You see the same faces, and it's a good thing. And I'm sure you're like buzzing to get back. And just a quick question, as in football terms, in sort of what position? Because previously you played sort of up front, and then you played on the right, and then maybe a little bit on the left. What's the plans for you this season? Are you centre forward? Are you on the right? Or I would like to know. And so would we all.
I think obviously shape's going to determine that. I think that obviously if we get the opportunity to play like a 4-3-3 formation, however way you set it up, then I should imagine I'm going to be used as one of the wide ones on the left or the right. Enjoy playing either side of them. I think it's a great position for me. I can use my energy efficiently in those areas because I can make runs going forward, and you've got people covering you going back. And if we play a 4-4-2, then I'd love the opportunity to play up front with someone else. So I think that's the plan. And going beyond that, those would be my favourite and my first choices, where I think that I can benefit the team and the club at my maximum. But obviously it goes without saying.
Sorry, I missed that. So in a 4-4-2?
Sorry, in a 4-3-3 would be my favourite position if we get the chance to play that. In one of the positions out wide, I'd love that'd be a great position for me. I feel that I can utilise my energy the most in that position. But if it was a 4-4-2, like I said, it goes without saying that if I have to play and we play on the right of a 4, I've done that plenty of times for QPR, and I'll play anywhere to play for the manager and the club. So, but I feel my best position and them getting the best out of me would be in one of their more advanced positions.
No, fair enough, Jamie, because I think all QPR fans know that whatever you do, you'll give 100% and give it the gun. So I wish you all the best for Saturday and for the rest of the season. So I hope we can get 3 points and all the best.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Kev. I appreciate it, top man. It'd be good to see you down the training ground. I miss you doing a few sessions with the young lads.
Yeah, that would be nice. So we'll see.
The club can phone him at any point.
No, it's good. It's good. Like I said before, we've got Steve, obviously Steve Gallen there. It's good to have people who have got the club, club's interest at heart, and they come through the club for a long time, and they've got the right ethos about the club. So it's good going back there, knowing that you've got people like that who have been in the club a long time, and also know the good young players who potentially will get a game coming through. So I think it's a good move from the club having Steve involved.
The new players that have come in this summer, Jamie, we know bits and pieces about some of them, but obviously some have come from abroad. We haven't seen a lot of them. Who has impressed you in training and the pre-season so far? Who do you like the look of the new players that have come in?
Well, I got injured after the Dundee game, so I missed a couple of the games. But in training, when I've trained, and I came to the game the other day, I think Cherry, who's played like the number 10 role for us, looks really sharp, looks a really good player. I think that's a very good signing, and like I say, in training and seeing him, I think his technique from set pieces, I've already sort of lined him up for a few set pieces this year. I'm sure you're going to see a few spectacular goals from him. The technique he's got is brilliant. I think he looks a really good player. I've been really impressed with him.
Right. This is going back a few years, Jim, and I'm sorry to bring this up because it involves that really horrific injury you had at Blackburn. But what did that idiot say to you that time when you actually got injured? Because I couldn't quite...
from the archives.
That is a supporter's question.
Because I wanted to kill him.
You know what? I think it was one of them. I was on the floor, and to be fair, I've never done anything like that before, and it did actually hurt. Like I didn't expect it to go. It sounds stupid, but I didn't know how bad until you do it. How bad if it does hurt that much, or people roll around and you don't know if it does hurt, but it did. It did actually really hurt. So my main focus was like, oh, I'm struggling here. And then you've got him in your ear. You're like, come on, pal. Last thing I need, get out my ear, saying things that you don't need to hear. He was going on a basis that I was feigning injury, and attending. So it was like an FA Cup game. I think it was 0-0 at the time. There wasn't a great tempo to the game, and he was like trying to drag me to my feet. It didn't really make sense. But you get a lot of players like this in football, and like Kev will tell you himself, you don't always get on with players, and there's not always great characters. So
no, but
part of just get on with it,
Do you know what? I had a bad injury, and to be honest, once you get a really bad injury, which you had and I had, you're just absolutely in shock, and you don't listen to really what you're too busy in pain to get on with it. But obviously, what he said, the other players must have heard, and which was. I think,
Kev, you're right. At the time, like I said, I weren't really that bothered. Anyone could say anything to me. I weren't bothered about. It's irrelevant what anyone can say anything to me anyway. But I was more worried about my leg.
Yeah, people were saying to me I was all right, and I went, "Nah, I'm not all right here. There's something wrong here."
Yeah, don't you?
Yeah, because your whole leg.
Yourself.
Yeah,
sorry, Jim. Being honest, do you wish you could play against him again just to sort of get in his ear?
Nah, really? What? Like I said, this is football. Football's football. I ain't gonna go and do anything stupid if I'm playing against them.
Oh God, no! I'm not talking machetes.
Not going to do a Roy Keane, are you?
Can you imagine if it was? Would he have done the Roy Keane? No,
I might do one. No, listen. I like I said, there's plenty of people in football. There's plenty of idiots in football. I'm not bothered. Like, we had a strong team that year, really good team spirit, and the lads made their feeling clear after the game, and for me that was it. Put to bed, get on with it, get on with your career. I'm not bothered what people say. I recovered well and got the chance to play in the Premier League. That's all I was bothered about.
The start of that season, Jamie, you obviously arrived from a Plymouth team that had struggled, and you scored sort of relentlessly at the start, sort of 3 in the first 3 and 6 in the first 8 and things like that. Were you surprised at sort of how well you did? And take us back to that time and tell us how it felt to sort of come into QPR and score all of those goals right at the start of the season. What was the sort of mood like?
Yeah, you know what? I think to replicate the team spirit and the team we had that year, I don't think I'll ever probably find that exact feeling again in my career, because it was a unique stage where quite a few players signed that summer. We went away on pre-season, we had an unbelievable pre-season tour, everyone got on brilliant, and when we came back it sort of felt that you'd been together for 3 or 4 years. So in the first game it just clicked, and I think that's quite rare. For me it clicked really quickly, and Kev will tell you, being a striker, when you go to a new club you want to try and get off the mark early doors. I did that and just sort of grew in confidence, and I just went on a good run and just I felt really happy within myself and happy with my football, and it was just a great time. I went on a roll and sort of rode the wave, and the lads carried that on for the rest of the season, and we went on. But yeah, it's hard to replicate getting real success in football. I think there's probably more downs than there is ups in terms of winning things and doing well as a team. But that year we had a great team, and we're all still in good touch, which again I think is rare in football.
Yeah, very rare. And I had very little success in football, but I had I had a promotion at QPR, and then I had a promotion at MK Dons, and we won something. But it is special. But the main thing when you win or do something special is the team spirit, and team spirit can get you so well, and everyone getting on with each other, and I can imagine that time with Warnock in charge, the team spirit was good, and you just said everyone still keeps in touch, and it looked like there was times when we played against teams who may be a little bit better than us, but we still won. I'm wondering how's like the team spirit at the football club now. This season, hopefully, it can replicate that. But also, what's the difference between now and when you left 2 years ago? Because obviously, there's been a lot of talk about bad eggs, and there's a lot of talk about bad eggs, but it ain't. It's no surprise that we can, watching QPR, you could see it anyway on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? From the last 2 or 3 years, it's been very obvious that the team spirit hasn't been right.
Yeah, I think, if you're a football fan and you're someone who's got QPR close to the heart, if you go and watch them week in, week out, you can tell, or any club, if you watch closely, if you're a big supporter, you can tell if things aren't right. You can't kid someone over a course of of 46 or 50 games if someone's watching the whole time. I think if things aren't right in the changing room, especially if you've been in football a little bit. And like you say, I'm not going to lie. The year that I left 2 years ago, it wasn't a good team spirit at all in that changing room. It wasn't a great place to come in and work. It wasn't a culture where people wanted to come in and train hard and work hard, which, to be honest, is the ethos I believe that comes with QPR and what I bought into when I first come in.
Yeah, but you're right, Jamie. Because but Jamie, that's like foreign to most clubs and most football players. Is like you come in, you train hard. Yeah, you don't have to be best friends and go out partying, but you work hard. But obviously, from what you're saying, is like people weren't training hard. There was different this, so it's very strange. I'm just hoping this season, whatever happens this season, that everyone's pulling in the right direction. Everyone's together.
Yeah. Well, I can say that was the year I left. I think it was well documented, been documented before. And to be honest with you, even if it wasn't documented, like you said, we got relegated. And you could see by the performances on the pitch that there wasn't a massive amount of commitment or passion, which should be a minimum within a good changing room and with a club with a good ethos and of one that does work hard and get promotions and do well. But that wasn't the case 2 years ago. Walking back in the building now, it's a completely different attitude from when I left 2 years ago, and a much better place to be again, and has got a better and a similar feeling to the first year that I signed, with some more young, hungry players who want to do well for the football club and want to kick on and buy into what QPR is about, which is having a good team spirit, working hard and playing good football. And that is definitely the case this year compared to 2 years ago when I left the football club. So that's a pleasing thing, and that's the truth.
Yeah, that's good. But that team did get promoted that season, so I don't want to put a damper on that. But you're obviously talking about the season before when we got relegated. It was poor, but I know what you're saying, and I just hope I'm
talking about the year that I left the changing room.
Yeah, okay, I understand.
I'm saying 2 years ago we got relegated. That was it. The year that I signed is the best changing room I've ever been in. I think it will be extremely hard, like I said before, to recreate that exact feeling and that exact personnel in a change room, because it's very rare that people stay together for that long or for a long time.
Indeed.
So I think it's hard, and I'm not sure that exact feeling can happen again. But the fundamentals of that are back in place now, and potentially can happen again, which is a good thing.
Do you feel like you're one of the senior players in the squad now? Because obviously, when you came in before, like I say, from Plymouth, there were big characters like Sean Derry and Clint Hill who've been brought in. Do you feel like you're one of the senior players who has to sort of police the dressing room and drive that team spirit now, being with the experience you've got, having been away and come back, and you're sort of seen as a QPR man now, I guess? Do you see yourself as one of the seniors now? Yeah,
I think there's definitely that feeling. I feel more so, or more than I ever have felt in my career so far, which I like. I embrace that feeling. I like it. I think that I don't necessarily go around talking and sort of like preaching about what should be done. I don't do that at all. But I try to set a standard every day in training, and by the way I play on a match day, and hopefully others follow by doing the right things every day. That's the only way I go about it.
Jamie, I agree totally. Actions always speak louder than words, and if you train properly, when I was a kid, Ray Wilkins was the man to look up to, and you just used to watch him, and he trained 100% every day. And if you did, and if I didn't, and as a kid, he used to pull me and he used to say, "Kevin, what's wrong with you?" And I was just, when you're just 17 or 18, you give it all. I was, what, Ray? And he said, "You're just not. Why don't you run about?" And I'm going, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You're just waiting for the ball up front, because when you're a kid, you just wait for the ball.
You just want to score. Yeah,
just run about."
You're a goal hanger.
Yeah, basically saying, "Stop." And it would never cut. And it would never cut. So I just, do you know what? Second half of the game, I just ran about. And do you know what? He was right. I got involved in the game. And I was training, and I was getting fit, and I was getting a sweat. And do you know what I mean? And it's right. Actions always speaks louder than words. And then when you've got a good group of older pros who show everyone else how it goes, it's very important at a football club. if you get the right good ones.
Ingredients. No, but before we let you go, Jimmy, because
you're going to bed in a minute. You've got a game on Saturday.
Yeah, you're going to go to bed, and I'm nearly.
I know, I've got a Great British Bake Off on pause. Actually.
Sorry, pause it.
Are you serious?
Ray Donovan's on, and I'm missing it. Ray Donovan, Sky Atlantic.
She's got it on pause. She wants to wait, doesn't she?
Don't worry about that. Ray Donovan, Sky Atlantic, much better.
Anyway, Jimmy, I've just got a few wee things to say for the season ahead. Firstly, Kevin, stop it. Fulham away, right? We've had some bad experiences, so if we can take the Watford experience, do you remember that one? Yeah, and hammer them bastards, I'd be really grateful, because they've been really loud at us for being rubbish and getting stuff down there. So if you guys can actually put a performance on at Craven Cottage this year, tell them it's needed, it's earned, and it's much desired from the fans. That'd be great.
I can't imagine Fulham fans are giving you much stick. What are they doing, clapping at you down the street? And
they haven't got any. They haven't got any. They ain't got any.
QPR fans can hold their own against the Fulham fans. I know they can.
To be fair, people shopping at Toys R Us can hold their own against Fulham fans, in all fairness. But the thing is, we just, that's the thing, you see. We're back in the Championship, and I kind of like the champ. I mean, I don't know what it's like as a player, but I do like the Championship a wee bit better sometimes, because we're going to win more games, we'll get the team spirit back, we'll get a few wins under our belt, we'll move forward. And in some ways, we do need a rebirth. Do you think? Yeah,
I think, you know what, I think that it goes without saying it's impossible for me to sit and say I prefer the Championship to the Premier League. The Premier League's the only place to play. It's the holy grail. It's the best place. It's the best feeling as a player. You're playing against the best players, and that's why you work hard every game to try and win in the Championship to get back there. But what's as is important this season and going forward with QPR is that the time we do go back to the Premier League is that it's the right time and the club's in the right shape to do it, and we stay there for as long as possible and have a good club. Whatever happens, if we ended up coming back down or managing to stay up, if we do go up, it's about having the right club instead of being in any trouble in any way as a football club.
And one last thing, on Saturday, would you like a really loud version of Mackie Wonderland? Does that?
Yeah, I've missed that tune. Yeah.
Okay, well, because it's going to be 3,500 QPR fans. I think quite a few might be a wee bit well oiled before the game, and expectations are high, and everything else. And all like to me personally, a good season for us, and this may fall out with a lot of other QPR fans, is top 6 would be a miracle. Outside top 6, stability. That's something. We got something to build on then.
Jamie, promise us a miracle.
Oh, that's a Simple Minds. Don't talk music with this man. Do not. He only knows one band, Simple Minds. It's ridiculous. Who's your favourite band, by the way, Jimmy?
Hopefully we can go out there for a beer in a few months and we're in a good place in the table. That'll be the main thing.
I hear. But who's your favourite band, by the way, Jimmy? And do you like Simple Minds? Kevin's.
Do you like the Specials? Do you like Therapy?
No, I'm Scottish, aren't I? I like the Proclaimers.
Simple Minds are from Scotland, by the way.
To be fair, you've got
it's the most Scottish person.
I have got
you sound Scottish, Jamie. I'll give it to you. You sound it.
I have got a simple mind, so I must remind you.
That was his pitch to Gordon Strachan. Can
you imagine?
I like the Proclaimers. You're in the squad for the Euros next year. You're in.
You're already in.
Yeah.
Did you say I will run 5,000 miles or something?
Steve, it's like Steve reminding me how Irish he is all the time. Don't worry.
Yeah, well, he reminds me about that, but I don't listen.
Does he mention? Well, listen, Jimmy, I thank you so much for coming back to our club, and I tell you what. If you score Saturday, make sure you celebrate well with the Rangers fans, because it'll be a celebration that's been a wee bit delayed. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, of course, yeah, definitely. No, thanks for having me back on. Yeah, it's been good to chat to you all.
You're a good man. Take care of yourself, fella.
Enjoy the bake-off, Jamie.
Nice one.
Nice one, mate. Thanks. Bye.
Cheers, thank you.
Lads. Bye.
I tell you what, talking to Jamie Mackie, sometimes you feel that there's a man talking to you there who still can't believe he's playing professional football and somehow found his way up to that. Because he just
that's good. That Finn.
No, but it's true. He sounds so like not trained footballer. Doesn't say football things. He's just normal. Isn't that a good thing?
It's nice in this day and age,
isn't it? He's a proper human being who's a really good footballer.
He's a human being, but he's. Do you know what?
He's not a robot.
Do you know what? No. With the inflated, everyone just thinks the Premiership and the money. He's just a nice geezer.
But this is a
nice geezer.
Not a bad footballer either.
Good football player, nice geezer, and goes on the pitch and has a go.
I hear a lot about Jamie Mackie. I heard a lot of, about after he left, and Jamie Mackie's drawbacks, and what's wrong with Jamie Mackie, and talk about his touch and bits and pieces like that. I think Jamie Mackie's actually a very decent footballer and will be very useful for us this season.
I went to the kit sponsorship, to be fair, and one of the first questions was it's not me. Someone said, Kevin, you drop bottles, you drop bottle tops, your phone's
getting
going
texting.
Can you be professional, please?
No.
All right, same as whatever. And
I'm going to put a song on for the end.
No, you're not. No,
to get everyone going.
No, please don't.
For the start of the season.
Please don't.
Yeah, I'm planning now while you talk and bore everyone.
All right, excellent. And
here we go.
Thank you.
Tell me when you were ready to shoot off, and I'm going to do that.
And someone said to Jamie, one of the first questions was, has your first touch improved? And I just thought, that's so rude and disrespectful of anyone. And it was just unnecessary. So whoever asked that question, if it's the podcast,
said that?
Some idiot on one of them Google things. I was like, that's because whatever you say, have you scored a winner against Liverpool? If you have, you can ask that question. If you haven't, you know what?
You think Jamie Mackie scored against some really good teams at really important times for us, and also improved his technique from when he arrived in that Barnsley game when we won 4-0 and he scored the goal. You could talk about his touch and things like that, but I thought he improved his technique immensely during his time with us, including his first touch, and also all while recovering. He had a spell out with a broken leg and recover from that. I thought he was a fantastic player by the time he left us. He's not Sergio Aguero, but we're not Manchester City, so he's a good player, and he's a fantastic signing, potentially our best signing this summer.
I'm not sure what that meant, but it was very well said, Clive.
No, thank you.
We're not Man City. He's not Aguero. Okay, and we haven't spent 45 million on him.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And it's a free transfer. And I think he first came for quite a low wage money as well, didn't he?
A few 100,000. Yeah.
So what? But that does that right, Kevin?
He actually played for MK Dons. You do know that.
Okay.
I know that it's just like a massive bugbear for you.
Well, MK Dons.
I think he was in the original Wimbledon academy, wasn't he? And he moved.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
There's a link.
Is he okay? Is he okay now?
No. Anyway, what I was going to say to you, as a professional footballer, right? As you stop it, Kevin. Stop it. For those that can't see, for some reason he's celebrating a goal, but no one knows why. When you come back,
just for the contradiction.
Okay, we talked about coming back, and you're a QPR fan, so when you came back, maybe it was a wee bit different. But
yeah,
what drew you back to Rangers? What was it, just being a fan, or obviously it wasn't money? There's no way it was ever money. So
no.
So what drew you back?
I took a cut to come back. I just wanted to just go back in. I just wanted to lie in my bed.
That's it.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. No. But that was a amazing feeling. I was like, I'm actually in my bed now, and I can go training with a team that I love. It's just at the time when I came back, I was just like, I've missed this.
To be fair, Barnsley and Huddersfield is quite a departure.
Yeah, massive. Live up there on your own. It was good for a bit. There's only so many nights out you can have.
Particularly in Barnsley and Huddersfield.
Yeah.
And Barnsley,
do you know what I mean?
It's like, doesn't it?
I was surrounded, but as you can know what I'm talking about. But
no, we don't. Kevin.
Cut that. But no. Seriously, no, you don't have to cut that. Seriously, don't cut that. No, I remember. I remember when I came. I remember I played on a Saturday for Barnsley against. We was in the Championship at the time, and QPR played Swansea, and I watched it live in the FA Cup, and we lost 3 or 4.
It went really well.
It was horrendous.
Really well.
And I only told.
That was Sunday afternoon.
I only told. I didn't tell anyone that I was, because I hadn't signed. I said I sold Joe on a Saturday night. The Saturday night I went, I'm coming back to QPR. And he went, what? I went, yeah, I'm coming back. He went, okay, that's great. I went, yeah, it's great. So I was at my mum and dad's, and then the rumours I'm coming back, and then I'm watching the 4-0 and I went, oh my God, this ain't good.
It was a bad week.
So I came in on the Monday, signed the contract, played on the Wednesday against Swindon. We won 4-0 and everything was rosy in the garden.
So basically you came back like a waterfall and just spread happiness into the ground.
Well, I don't know about that, but if that's what you think. But do you know, it was a great feeling just walking back into a night, because I always like night games at QPR. I think the night games at QPR are brilliant. Under the floodlights,
you can argue
great atmosphere. It's just brilliant. And I remember walking in, and it was dark, and I just kept my head down, walked in, did that, and we won 4-0. And then it was just and for the next few years, it was probably the best football I ever played. And the best times I ever played, in truth, really, for QPR. But other than the first couple of seasons at QPR when I broke through, but those 4 or 5 years were the best consistency I ever played for QPR.
And to be fair, they weren't bad times, really, were they?
Well, no, we was all. Do you know what? That's the difference between QPR now and QPR then. Is QPR then we were the underdogs. We were in administration, and it was all against. But we had a great team spirit. Ian Holloway at the time was brilliant manager. We had Kenny Jackett assistant. He was brilliant. We had just had great. The team spirit was, and I was sort of like a senior player. And it was a little bit different to when I was like a kid growing up under like Jerry Francis, and when I first turned up, Jerry Francis and Les and Alan MacDonald and Clive Wilson, Ian Holloway. The players were brilliant then. This time the players weren't obviously as good, and I was a senior player, and I had to like sort of a little bit like you asking Jamie, you got to lead, you got to be a leader. Steve Palmer was there a little bit older, but I was sort of a leader because on the pitch.
Yeah. So
it was great times.
But right, we're going to wrap up because Gabriel, our engineer, is not only dropping things all over the floor, but he's reminded me that we've got to wrap up. So pre-season is gone, football season's here. We've got. Dare we predict Saturday? Can we predict Saturday?
Saturday could be 1-0 either way. It could be 1-1. Could be 0-0. Could be anything. Like you can't. You can't.
Everything.
Look, you can't. It could be anything.
That sounds like St. and Gravy.
You can't predict the championship. Like who do you think is potentially going to win the championship and get relegated?
I have no idea.
So.
I have no idea. I mean, everyone talks.
I fancy Middlesbrough and I fancy Wolves.
I don't.
Oh, I hope Joe's not listening.
You like Leeds.
No, I think Leeds. No, I don't.
No one
like
likes
them.
Leeds.
Nobody likes.
I think Leeds will be strong. I don't think they'll be entertained, but I think they're big, strong. I think Middlesbrough will be there. I think Derby.
Do you think Derby aren't Derby going to get to March and panic again?
Probably, maybe, but it's just because they got. Look, you always go on who's got the best players and who spends the most money, and QPR should be. They should be there, but thereabouts, because at the end of the day, at the moment, Leroy Fur's still at QPR. Hopefully, Sandro's coming back.
We haven't mentioned that.
Wherever he is, Charlie Austin's still at the club. It looks like he's getting sold. Surely we'll get a decent replacement with the money. Phillips is still there. We've still got a very good team. There's no bones about it. That's a good team in the Championship. Very good team. So there's no doubt in my mind, why shouldn't we be in the mix? Because 2 years ago, we was in the Championship, and if everyone thought it was doom and gloom, and we were in the top 2 for 6 months. I know we faded, but we got promoted in the end. And the attitude and the atmosphere 2 years ago was a lot worse than it was now.
That's a fair point, actually. I never thought of that before. You should come on more often, Kev. You're not on the podcast enough.
Well, I actually thought I should be hosting, but no one's asked me.
Yeah. You can't be any worse than the one they got now, I can tell you.
It was, but
Fraser's back
or
Monday.
the one before.
Fraser's back Monday is fine.
Is the difference between last time and this time is highlighted by the fact that this time we signed Paul Konchesky, who's 34 years old and has probably been Leicester's worst player for the last couple of years, whereas last time we sent Benoit Assirikoto, who's sort of proven, established Premier League player, 28 years old, on loads of money. That looks like the difference. I think one of the few mistakes we've made this summer, personally, I think, is letting McCarthy go to Crystal Palace, and they talk about Maybe we'll sign the Southend goalkeeper, who I also like almost as much as McCarthy. Sooner or later, Rob Green's a decent goalkeeper, poor distribution, great shot stopper. Sooner or later you have to accept that, Alex McCarthy may not be as good now, but could be our goalkeeper for 10 years. We've lost him. I hope we do sign the Southend goalkeeper, and if we do sign him, I hope that we play him.
It's an interesting one. But then, in some respects, when we were in the Premiership, we were signing Portsmouth players, and now we're signing players from IKEA. And that's what you need in the Championship. That's my theory. And
but
you can't.
At the end of the day, let's look at the squad. We need another goalkeeper.
Yeah,
we need another 2 centre forwards. That's what I think.
But
because the teams that get promoted from this division always have.
And
the teams that usually win leagues always have good strikers.
Before we wrap up, we've got to talk about Saturday. Because it's massive.
I've got the music ready to wrap it up.
Please, God, take me now. But I'm just thinking, we've got to do this quickly. What do you think, Clive, will be the starting lineup on Saturday? Let's be fair. And
Green, Perch, Anua, Hill, Konchesky, Luongo, Forlin.
Oh, okay. I'll leave it get back in.
Poulter up front, and then...
Do you think you play Poulter?
Yes, and... come to me for my hour's end of the show about Poulter.
Okay.
But
left wing,
Poulter,
left striker,
Cherry behind Poulter,
Phillips.
and Phillips on one side, and
Gladwin.
maybe Mackie or Gladwin on the other. That would get.
I think
It's interesting.
not far off. I don't.
It's actually a good side.
As Jamie Mackie hasn't trained since.
Does he need to train though? He's carved out of wood.
Yeah, I know, but it's all you need a little bit of training. Believe me. Whatever, I know what you're saying, but you need a bit of if I was going into a season and I've only trained one or 2 days because on a Friday before the start of the season you don't really do much. You do set pieces and you might have a 5-a-side for half an hour maximum. You need more than that, but I don't know. But it isn't far off that. Gladwin on the left, Phillips on the right. Yeah, Falling. I'm not too sure if that. I don't think Falling. I would say Henry.
That wouldn't surprise me, although he's had 0 pre-season.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right. So quickly, score predictions. Kevin,
has anyone had any pre-season? I think I've had more pre-season than
you've never had a pre-season.
And I've been Spain. I've been to Dublin.
No, you haven't, Kevin. You've been working hard.
Yeah, I didn't say I weren't working hard.
Yes,
at the bar.
Yes. Anyway, Kevin, score predictions. By the way, are you going Saturday? Or are you working?
I'm working.
All right. So score prediction anyway. As I try for 13th time.
I'm gonna say 1-1.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And which I think is a good, because the first game of every season is tough because everyone's at 100 buzzing. Everyone's up for it. Okay. And to go away, Charlton, London derby, I think 1-1 would be a good result.
It's practically by the sea. Anyway,
it's not. But go on,
Clive.
I was going to say 1-1 as well. I just don't think we're going to get a lot out of the first 3 league games, so it might go the other way. But 1-1 was going to be what I say. My prediction is
that
Clive. Well, all right. 1-1 and Poulter plays poorly because this is going to be my R's end of the show.
Don't keep building up to your R's end. Just spit the friggin' R's end out.
I've got the music ready.
That's your R's end of the show, Kevin.
Poulter plays poorly for 60 minutes.
Hold it.
Come on.
Poulter plays poorly for 60 minutes and gets substituted to a cacophony of boos and jeers and whatever, and Mackie comes on, we end up with a first game. Well, that was going to be
Clive, what's your R's end of the show?
It annoys me that people read so much into pre-season that we've already written off Poulter as not being very good on the basis of 1 poor performance at Newport and 1 performance against Atlanta.
Okay.
It annoys it. It annoys, like,
Clive.
Give him 12 games. Give him 12 games. My other R's end of the show was name the team that lost 4-0 at Swansea in the FA Cup the day before Kevin's re-signed. How many players can you name?
Fraser Digby.
Yeah, go on.
That's 1.
Have you got it?
Yeah, I've got it in front of me.
You bastard.
Marcus Bean played, didn't he?
No.
Palmer played?
Steve Palmer.
Yes, 2.
Shitu.
No.
What?
Carlisle?
Do you want me to go through it really quickly?
No. What's that other centre half? Oh, God. Chris Warren.
Warren played.
Right, but Big Knot?
Yeah. QPR's team that lost 4-0 to Swansea in the FA Cup was Fraser Digby,
Packet.
Terrell Forbes, Krista Warren, Steve Palmer, Chris Plummer, Mark Perry, Carl Connolly, Marcus Bignot, Alex Bono, Leroy Griffiths, and Doodoo. There's no need. There's no. No wonder they lost 4-0.
Things ain't that bad.
Do you know what?
However bad
No.
it gets, guys. However bad it gets.
The funny thing is,
Here we go.
No, we're not doing your frigging song yet.
Here we go.
No, the funny thing is about that Swansea game is I came back, and anyone who's been in the car with me will know I drive really slowly. I nearly got caught in a speed trap by the police.
I'm surprised you're back from that game
after that.
I'm not surprised. But listen, right.
Ready?
But no, we've got my hours into the show. Kev, seriously. Now, can you just turn it down? Seriously.
No, we should end now.
We're ending out. Okay. My hours into the show is we did a thing during the summer. I can't do this. You're playing that shite. Right. My hours into the show is that we did a thing called Pod Patrons, and thank you everyone who paid money and who will be on the podcast during the course of the season. The podcast, the quality may be low, as in us presenting it, but the cost is high. Seriously, I can't believe I'm doing this with this music behind me. On Saturday, go to Charlton, be loud, be proud, and never, ever, ever think that we cannot win this league, because we can. This has been the QPR podcast. Kevin Gallen, thank you very much. Clive Whittingham, thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul.
Gabriel, thank you very much. You seriously need to find another band. This can't go on, Kevin. This is stalkerish material.
The QPR podcast is a West 12 Media and Burble Media production.
QPR, QPR, Queen's Park Rangers are on the up and up. QPR, QPR.